Okay. Glad we are. Hi, who joined? Please announce yourself. Who joined? He's phone. He's iPhone. Who's that? Okay. So, Samyak, we are live now. Jai Jinendra to you. So, Jai Jinendra to everyone. We are, as I was telling you, we are going to cover a very interesting topic today. Kind of interrelated topics, not directly, but I can always draw a connection between those two topics, and that's exactly what I'm going to do that. But before we start, let's do Namokar Mantra together. Okay? Samyak, let's do Namokar Mantra. नमो अरिहंताणम नमो सिद्धाणम नमो आयर्याणम नमो वज्झायाणम नमो लोये सवसाहुणम ऐसो पंचनमो यारो सव पावपणाशणौ मंगलाणं च सवेसिम पडमं वै मंगलम. Jai Jinendra. Okay, so as we were starting the class, I asked a couple of questions to Samya because he was the first one to join today. So awesome. And my questions were twofold. One is how is this universe made? And basically, when was it made? Is it kind of an underlying question? And the way Samyak answered the question is the way Samyak answered the question is that universe has been beginningless. It was it has been there since the always been there, and it will always be there basically. So it's beginningless in that sense, right? Which is the right uh, theory, right explanation as per Jain Agam. We in Jain theory, in Jain philosophy, uh, the multiverse that we are part of, something that we call as Lokakash, has existed since eternity, and it will continue to exist until eternity. So it has been it's eternal. The multiverse, the Lokakash, has been eternal, right? So that's the first answer. Great job, Samir. You know the right answer. The second question I asked him was, who made the universe? And how much time it took for making the universe? The answer back from Samyak was, nobody made the universe, right? Jainism says nobody made the universe. There is no supreme being that made the universe, not in 7 days, not in 10 days, not in millions of years. Nobody did that. Universe has existed. It just evolves, obviously, the way even the physics of the modern physics describes it. There is definitely an evolution that happens, and as we have touched upon the other time, the subject of time or kal, it's very cyclic, right? So there is an evolution. There are the shape and form of universe changes with time. The characteristics of the multiverses, the various universes that makes up this multiverse, also change with time, right? And that's exactly how Jainism describes it. That's exactly how Mahavir Bhagwan, preached us in his Vani after his Keval Gyan. So whenever a Tirthankar gets to the state, the highest, most pristine and most pure state of meditation, which is basically getting the Kevali Gyan. After that, they being Tirthankar, they being the Hitopdeshi Bhagwan that they share that knowledge. The knowledge gets shared when the Samosharan happens. And this particular theory, this particular philosophical explanation of the multiverse that we are a part of was given to us by Mahavir Bhagwan when his Vani reached us during the Samosharan, right? So that's how it has come to us. That's how the theory got framed or formatted by the various, but first by Gautam Gandhar, and then it got passed through by a rich tradition, a rich lineage of the various munis and acharya that are part of Jainism, that have been part of Jainism for so many years, right? At least 2,500 years. If we start from Mahavir Bhagwan, obviously this knowledge existed even before Mahavir Bhagwan, during the time of Parshvanath Bhagwan, and before him at the time of Neminath Bhagwan, and before his time Naminath Bhagwan, and so on and so forth. Uh, uh, all the way going back to Rishabdev Bhagwan, at least in this Chaubis, right? During this Avsarpani Kal. So, and universe existed even before that also, right? So universe has always existed. Now, the key question here is, okay, we understand that universe has always existed. What are the key substances that come together to form the universe? Or in from the Jain physics perspective, how do we define the subjects? How has our Agam defined the substances that come together to define this universe? And how many such substances are there? And when I'm saying how many such, I'm talking about the broad categories. I'm not talking about the exact numbers, right? So any guesses on that, Vikyat? How many substances have Jain Agam defined as the categories that come together to define this multiverse, or this whole existence that we experience and we see around us?
Like several categories. There's several reasons. Like
Several. Let's be more specific. If you know the answer, you know the answer. If you don't know the answer,
I don't really know the answer. I'm trying to make something.
Beta?
I'm trying to make something of an answer. I don't know.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's why we are in this class.
Well, right? Why is nobody here? Like,
I have no clue. So the answer for that is 6. How many substances? How many substances? Are there? Fundamental substances are there, or something
6?
that we call as dravya. What's the right word in Hindi for it, Vikyat? Samyak, what's the word I just said?
Dravya?
Dravya, yes. The word for these fundamental substances, as per our Agyam, is dravya, and there are 6 dravyas. When I say there are 6 dravya, you have to read it as there are 6 type of dravya. Hai na? Some of them have multiple manifestations or form, while there are a few which are only one. There is no further categories of them, and we'll cover all of that in this video. Okay, now what are these 6 dravyas? Can you name some of these dravyas as defined by our Agam? Either of you can give the answer. I mean, give me one, at least one, if you remember one of them. One dravya or one type of dravya that defines, that's the fundamental dravya that makes up this universe.
Wait, we went over dravya?
Okay, Samyak, any guesses on that?
I don't have any yet. Maybe respectfulness?
The hint is, who are we?
Jeev. I mean, yeah.
Right?
Oh, I think I know the 6th dravya.
Yeah. So Jeev surely is one of that dravya. Give me a second. Somehow I'm not able to hear you guys properly. Maybe it's on my side. So just okay. Am I audible?
You're audible.
Okay. How about let me see if I can turn on.
We see the sky above and the earth below.
I think I played it too fast. Let me go to my audio setting once. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's. Microphone is good. Output volume is low. How about now? Can you, one of you, speak up?
Well, it said my network bandwidth was low, something like that.
No, don't worry. I can hear you properly. Okay.
There are so many buildings.
Now let's go through this video, the first video of the day. It's about the 6th dravya, right? So yes, one of the most important dravya out of the 6 is Jeev. Okay, and then there comes the second category, which is Ajeev or Pudgals, right? So and so forth. There are 6 that we are going to cover. Like Kal or time is one of them. Then there are 2 Dravik that are defined as one responsible for every motion or movement, and the other Dravik that's responsible for the stopping of the motion. Right. So you can loosely relate it to the physics that we define, the mechanics that we have, that we study in our uh, classroom physics. But I would not still say they are exactly the same, because they came out of a very different way of thinking, right? But you can draw parallel between these concepts, right? So there is one dharmastika and adharmastika. Dharmastika is one responsible for uh, bringing things into motion or keeping them in motion, while adharmastika is basically responsible for keeping things in a stationary condition or bringing the things back in a stationary condition. So that's dharmastika. Dharmastika, we have kal, which is time. We have space or akash. So the word akash, generally when we talk in normal, like common Hindi, we say akash means sky. But in Jainism parlance, in Jain parlance, akash means space in general. Right? So everything that's around us is akash, which in the sense is also the true definition of sky, as explained in physics. Everything around us, we are part of the universe. So anything and everything around us is like sort of a, part of that sky. It's not just what is up there, it's everywhere, right? So that's
Technically,
why
they're a universe of their own.
What's universe of their own, Vikhyat?
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple universes in as per Jainism also. We'll come up to that topic someday. But in general, all these things together, everything that's filling up, around us is what we call as akash or space. So that's one of the dravas, right? So if we start with Jeev, then Jeev is one dravya. Pudgal or the objects, the material objects around us, which are lifeless or do not have a soul, are called as Pudgals. Then we have Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, and then we have Akash and Kal. That makes up these 6 dravya, right? So before I go any further on it, let me play the video that will reinforce the point that I'm making, and then we'll talk about more questions and topics centered around the 6 dravya. Okay?
buildings, families, homes, and
Let me start it from the beginning. Let's see. Before I go there, what's going on?
Jai Jinendra. Today, we will try to understand the universe which we see around us. What is this universe? We see the sky above and the earth below. There are so many buildings, families, homes, and forests. Do these constitute the universe? What exactly is the form of this universe? And where did it originate from? Some people say that God created it. Let's think about
Okay, one thing. Although in all the videos or translated videos, the word used for the concept of Akash in general has been the word used has been universe or generally universe. I prefer using the word multiverse because it's not one universe but many universe as defined by Jainism. We live in a one Kshetra, Bharat Kshetra, but there is a parallel universe called Vidya Kshetra, which is existing in parallel, right? And so forth. Similarly, there are these 16 heavens and 7 hells, right? So these are all parallel universes with their own structuring and their own orders, and together they make up what we call as Akash, the word used in our Chedravya principle. So although in this video they will keep talking about universe, but it's not universe, it's multiverse. There are many universes. Okay, so
Okay.
let's keep going.
about it. If the universe was created by God, then did God have any raw material using which he created the universe? If yes, then this means that he simply transformed the raw material into universe and created nothing. This shows that God has not created the universe. If we say that nothing existed before the universe was created, then the question arises, how the universe was created? We don't see anything in this universe that can be made without using some material. It is not possible that God can create something without any raw material. Another question that now arises is, if God created the universe, then can God be considered as most powerful and compassionate? Then why did he give so many griefs and sorrows in this universe? You might have seen many people who are sad. There are deaths in every house. Everyone who is born has to die one day, and the family members of that person get sad. There are so many diseases, so much tension and stress. Why? Doesn't God have compassion that he has created such a sad universe? Another question arises. Why was this universe created? What is the purpose of the universe? If we assume there was nothing before the universe was created, then what are the benefits of creating it? Then it seems that in reality, no one has created this universe. It was always there and will be there forever. If we assume that there was a starting point of this universe, then we need to know what was before that starting point. Just imagine, if there was nothing before the starting point and all of a sudden the universe appeared. Do you think it can happen? Is it possible? I don't think so. So, one thing becomes clear now, that the universe has always been there and will always continue to exist. Now, we will try to understand how the universe was created. The universe is made up of 6 substances known as the 6 Dravya. Today, we will understand about them. If we look around us, what do we see? We see human beings, we see animals, buildings, roads, etc. We can perceive 2 things very clearly from this. One is living and another is non-living in this universe. Living means those who have life and who have the ability to know and see, known as Janana and Dekhana. That is called Jeev. This is the first Dravya. It is in everyone, human beings, animals, birds, plants, bacteria, etc. Here we are not discussing the body. In fact, the Jeev which is inside the body, which has the power to know and see. Now, let us understand the second Dravya, that is Pudgal. Whatever we see around us, the things which we can feel, smell, taste, all those things are Pudgal. Like,
Okay, one important thing. This video was created for smaller kids, right? So it says the things we can feel, taste, touch and everything. But it also includes the things which we cannot feel or touch, but still existing around us, like air. You cannot touch air, but it is yet there, and it is one of the Pudgals. It's made up of anus, or what we call as the smallest particles, not exactly atoms, but much more smaller than atoms that come together. You can think of them as the quantum particles that come together to make the various objects, different compounds, and objects that exist around us, right? So that's what is Pudgal. Pudgal could be something you can touch and something that you cannot touch. It can be something that you can feel and not feel, something that you can taste and not taste, something that you can smell and not smell, right? Anything and everything that's existing there and comes together to define this multiverse is a Pudgal, except those particles that have the power of consciousness or the power of janna and dekhna, right? That is us, right? We have that power of applying our brain to understand things, and that's exactly what differentiates us from something like a chair or a piece of metal and so on and so forth. For that matter, that is that one thing that also differentiates us as a soul from us as a body, because our body on its own, if you take the soul out of the body is also a Pudgal. It is when the soul is there that makes it what it is with the power of cognition. Okay, Vikyat, you have a question, so go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I forgot my question.
No worries, it will come back. Don't worry, it will come back. Okay, if you have the question, if you remember it, raise your hand again. Okay, no worries. Okay, let me play the video. So that's important, right? The differentiation between Jeev and Pudgal is the most important. Now, one other thing I would like to remind you, earlier I think, did we cover the topic of the seven fundamentals? We did not, right? No. Okay, then I'll not go there. Okay, I sometimes get confused because I also teach the Pathshala out here in Phoenix, and several topics I have already covered with them, so it kind of misses me whether I covered it with you guys or with them. But anyways, in any case, we'll not go there. So sticking to the topic of substance, so far in this video we talked about the first two, the most interesting and important ones. One is Jeev, that we are, and Pudgal, that we are not. It's very important to differentiate, right? I mean, we may think that we are this body, but we have to have the general awareness that we are not this body. This body on its own, is also a Pudgal. That's why the body dies, but soul never dies. It just transmigrates. It moves, right? And when it moves, it goes with karma particles associated with, right? So that's like, you have a book that's always open unless you close it by doing deep penance and meditation and reach the state of equanimity, that moksha. Okay, we'll not go there. We'll go there later in some of the videos. So let me play the video again. Pudgal is what we were talking about. Okay.
Water, air, concrete, buildings, solid, liquid, gas, these all are Pudgal. The light which is in waveform, that too is a Pudgal. Sound waves are also Pudgal. So, we can clearly see two things in the universe. One is Jeev and the other is Pudgal. Now, if only soul or Jeev and Pudgal are present in this universe, then it would not work. Both of these need a place to live, right? So, there is a third Dravya in this universe, that is space, known as the Akash. Everything like cloud, earth, etc. exists in Akash. Now imagine, if there are only space or Akash Dravya, Jeev and Pudgal, then the universe will become completely static and there will be no change. So, one more Dravya that is needed is time. Unless there is a past, present or future, how would we see any changes in the universe? So, for any change to happen, time is needed. That is our fourth Dravya, time. Apart from these, there are two more things which we can't see. They can't be seen even through any scientific experiments. These are Dharmadravya and Adharmadravya. Dharmadravya does not mean religion in which we worship in temples. Dharmadravya and Adharmadravya both are spread all over the universe. Both of them can't be seen by any scientist's equipment because scientists' equipment can figure out only Pudgal or materials. Dharm and Adharm are not even visible. Now we need to learn what Dharm and Adharmadravya do. Whatever movements occur, the movements are in the Jeev and Pudgal. Like for example, I am standing now. Then I start walking. Then I sit. Then this movement is our Pudgal movement. Take another example. We throw the ball up. It goes up as much as it can. This is movement. Dharmadravya is the medium for movement and Adharmadravya is the medium that helps anything that is stationary to remain stationary. And the interesting fact about the special way in which they help us. They do not directly move or stop anything, but they are like a medium that helps a movement or making something stationary. Like we can run on the ground, but it is not the ground that makes us run. We need a ground to run. Otherwise, we will not be able to run. In the same way, we need Dharmadravya to move and Adharmadravya to stop us. So, these are the six dravya.
So important thing, right? Let me ask you this question. You all have read enough physics, right? Whatever grade you are in, doesn't matter. But
I haven't started physics of seventh.
You are in middle school, so you know the concepts, from classroom science a lot. When you heard about the topic of dharma, dravya and adharm dravya, or what our Agam also referred to as dharmastikaya and adharmastikaya, which concept from physics it closely parallels with, it closely relates to? Can you think of a concept? So dharma is all about, dharma dravya is all about, how things get into motion or stay in motion or get in motion. And adharma dravya is all things that, basically is responsible for bringing things into a stationary order. Any parallel concept that you can draw it with? And it's okay if you don't remember. I like you to think about it, and maybe in the next class we can discuss this. Okay Vikya? So
Okay.
dharma, you know now the definition of dharma dravya and adharma dravya, and you have enough background in science. At least you know the primary school and middle school science. I think that's good enough. Try to find out one concept that you have learned in classroom physics or classroom science that kind of comes closest to dharma dravya and adharma dravya. Samyak, can you do the same? Okay. This is the item for next class. So I'm going to ask you, in the next class. Okay?
Okay.
So the six dravya, you know the names, right? We start with six dravya. The names are, we'll go two at a time because they are kind of complementary. So first two are Jeev and Pudgal.
Jeev and Pudgal.
Right. Jeev are those that are live. They have the power of cognition or reasoning. Janna or dekhna. They can observe and they can understand or comprehend. So power of comprehension or understanding and power to observe are the two characteristics of Jeevs, right? So when we say Jeev, the complete body of Jeev includes Jeevs that are born as minute microscopic organisms on one side, all the way to highly evolved human beings on the other side. All of these are Jeevs, right? Anybody, any thing that has a power to understand and observe is a Jeev, as per Jainism. Okay, so that's one. Now, the second complementing Dravya is Pudgal. So anything which does not have these characteristics, the characteristic of observation and understanding on its own ability, is considered as a Pudgal, which includes everything and anything that you see and not see around you, right? That defines this universe in its material sense. So that's what Pudgal is. So that covers two, Jeev and Pudgal, the first pair. The second pair is very interesting. We always talk about it in physics without knowing that we are talking about it. And that is the concept of Akash and Kal. When I'll use the word in English, you'll understand what I'm saying. Akash means space and Kal means time. So I'm
Space
talking
and
about
time.
space and time, right? So that's the second pair, right? Jeev, Pudgal, Akash and Kal. That makes it 4. The rest of the 2, you can say, I'll not give you the answer because that is exactly what I'm asking you in physics sense. But here we are talking about Dharm Dravya and Adharm Dravya. Dharm Dravya is something by virtue of which things stay in motion or get to motion. Now, these things could be Pudgal things, or they could be Jeevs, right? So that's Dharm Dravya. And the second is Adharm Dravya, by virtue of which things get to a state of stationariness, like they get to they become motionless. Basically, they stay at one place. That's what Adharm Dravya is about. So that makes it 6, right? So 3 pairs basically: Jeev, Pudgal, 1 pair; time and space, Akash, Kal, second pair; and the Dharma and Adharm Dravya, 3rd pair. Very easy to remember them. This is very fundamental concept of Jainism. So obviously you should memorize this, right? There is no choice there. This is like, knowing ABCD or alphabets. You have to know your ABCD to learn English and go from there, right? So that's how, similarly, to better understand the Jain fundamentals, you have to know the Jain fundamentals. And that work starts with knowing the 6 Dravya. Hai? That's how it would become very easy for you to understand the universe. Okay, so let's keep going. Let me complete.
And this universe is made up of. Let's do a quick recap. First is Jeev, the one who knows. Second is Pudgal, the material which we can sense using our senses. Third is Akash, which gives space for everyone to live. Fourth is Kal, that is time. Fifth is Dharm, which is the medium for moving objects. And the 6th is Adharm, which is the medium for stationary objects. So, we learned in this video that this universe is made up of 6 Dravya. These 6 Dravyas have always been there and will continue to be there forever. Jai Jinendra.
Okay. So there is one more concept that I'll introduce to you, Samyak. I hope you are paying attention. And that concept is, out of these 6 Dravya, we take 5 out of them and we call them as Astikais. They are Astikais. Astikai means they have a shape or a form. They are not formless. Okay. What are these 5 Dravya that are not formless? Or we call them, the word used in Jain Agam for that is Panchastikai. Right? So there are 6 Dravya. However, 5 of them are considered as those that have a form. And they are, together they are termed as Panchastikai. And only Dravya that does not have a form is Kal. So we never say Kalastikai. However, we say Jivastikai, Pudgalastikai, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, and Akashastikai. These are all said with a suffix of astikai. and together they are called as Panchastikai. However, Kal is one such Dravya that is formless. Okay, so that's one very interesting concept that you should know, from my class. That way, that's your differentiator. That, hey, apart from just knowing that the names of the six Dravya and what they mean, I also know what Panchastika is. Okay? Okay, at least you guys are attending the class today, so you should know this. Yeah? Great.
Everybody else doesn't know anything.
Exactly, because they haven't attended the class, right? So Panchastika is the word you should remember, and then you should know what that means, right? Astika means they have a form or a format. They have a form, right? So 5 of the Dravya out of 6 have a form, right? They are form. They have a form, while the 6th Dravya, that Kal, is formless. Okay. So that said, now let's go back to our other video. Okay, now we are going to talk about something. It's a bit different concept, but kind of related. Let me ask you this. What is the difference between time and a calendar? Can you define? If somebody like a small kid comes to you and asks you this question, hey, can you define what time is and what a calendar is?
A calendar keeps track of time.
Okay,
but
a
time
calendar.
is actually like
Okay. Okay. I got your answer, Samyak. How about you, Vikyat? What do you think?
Basically, time is there, but a calendar is just a way of marking down time.
Awesome. Great definition, Vikyat. You are so spot on. And Samyak, your definition is also very good, right? It's exactly up to the mark, right? So time is one of the 6 substances that we just talked about. It's one of the Dravya, very important Dravya, the only Dravya that does not have a form or is not an Astika. Hai na? Calendar is a way to measure it, to measure time. It's basically a scale to measure time. Now, when we are talking about scale to measure time, there could be various systems to measure time, correct? Or similar to like draw parallel, when we are talking about distance, how many different ways you can measure distance? Samyak.
there's a lot. So it's like miles, feet, meters,
Perfect.
kilometers.
So generally we talk about 2 systems, metric system and the FPS, the foot mile system, right? That's the other one, that US system basically. Correct. But then there are many more also, to your point. Exactly. Right. I mean, in the older times, there were people using the term of distance as yojan, kosh. And this is what is also present in our Jain agams. What is a yojan? How many kosh makes a yojan, and so on and so forth. There were higher units of measuring distance also. Similarly is the case for time. There is not one single calendar. You'll be surprised when I introduce this topic in my class, my pathshala in Phoenix. There were some kids who were royally surprised. They were like, "What are you talking about? There is not one calendar." We are so used to follow that one calendar that we
Gregorian
think is
calendar.
universal, the Gregorian calendar, exactly, that we sometimes get this false impression that is the only way to measure time, or to contextualize time. It is
There's
not.
a reason the Chinese New Year exists.
Exactly, right? And same way in India, there are various calendars that we call as panchangs. What is the word used for them? Panchang. And that's
Panchang.
only one word. There are many other words used for that calendar system in India. There is one very critical difference between the Gregorian calendar and the calendars used in India. What is that? Can you tell me what is the key fundamental difference between the Gregorian calendar and the calendar systems, the various systems that are used in India? Samyak, any guesses? How about you, Vikyat?
So the differences are like they're different, like in the sense of amounts of time scaled. like, but they have one thing in similar, like it's that three, like basically they all surround the amount of time that it takes to rotate around the Earth.
So your answer is not exact, but it kind of touches the concept, and you are not getting there. So let me take you there. The primary difference between the Gregorian calendar and the various Indian calendars is the Gregorian calendar is a solar calendar. Okay, it follows the cycle of Earth around the sun, while the various Indian calendars, and for that matter, even the Chinese calendar, is a lunar calendar.
All right, yeah, now I remember.
Right.
Oh wait, I never
So
remember.
we know more about the Chinese calendar, but we have no cognition of our own calendar systems in India, and that is why we are in this class, right? We have awareness of Chinese calendar, Chinese New Year, Chinese blah blah blah, but we don't know about that in India. Also, we have a new year that is mostly, if you try to pinpoint it on the Gregorian calendar, it sometime arrives sometime during the months of either April or March or April of May, that time frame loosely. Irrespective, I think the key point out there is the Indian calendar systems, and there are many, because India has been a very rich civilization with many forms of government and various systems of administration that existed at different point of time. One thing that has stayed common is the primary calendars systems that have stayed in use in India for a longer period of time have been lunar calendars. They follow the rotation of moon around the earth, and at the same time also the rotation of these two things together, the earth and moon, around the sun. So while the months are defined based upon the waxing and waning moon cycle, yet the number of days in an year are still the same. The amount of time it takes to rotate, for Earth to rotate around the sun. Okay, but together, because the primary concept of measuring a month, the progress of days in a month is based on the rotation of moon around the sun, we call it as a lunar calendar. Okay, the official calendar of India is a lunar calendar.
Lunar in what kind?
Although they still follow the Gregorian calendar to stay relevant with other countries and for better consistency amongst the various systems of calculation. Okay, so that's what it is. We have that, and the common word for calendar in Hindi is Panchang. What is the word?
Panchang.
Panchang. Okay, so that's what we are going to cover today. What is a Panchang? Okay, so here it is. If you look at this, this is a Hindi Panchang. Right now, in Hindi Panchang, it's based on both moon phases and the time of the solar year, as I described. Right, so the month is basically made up of the one waxing and waning cycle of moon. Basically, every month is further divided into what we call as Paksh, or the word for it in English is fortnight. I'm sure you have heard this word.
I've definitely heard it way too much.
Right? So fortnight is 15 days. Now, why 15 days?
It's 2 weeks, 14 days.
14 days, 1 day is for the new moon or the full moon, depends on that. So if you consider new moon in one set of 14 and the full moon in another set of 14, then it's 15 plus 15, something on that line. Right? So that said, right? So each Paksh is made up of 15 days, which is what fortnight is. Now, so basically a month in a lunar calendar or a Panchang is made up of two Paksh. One, waning cycle, which is called as Krishna Paksh. What is it called?
Krishna Paksh.
Krishna Paksh. Krishna means black in Hindi, right? So, or Negro in Spanish. That's what Krishna means. Krishna, the name of Krishna in Hindu mythology is Krishna because he was black. He was of the black composure. He was darker skinned person. That's why he was called Krishna. That's why he was named.
That sounds rather odd.
It's not odd. That's how it is. People are named blacksmith, the black, Mr. Black. That's could be the reason for them. Anyways, so we not a subject area for us for today, but that's what Krishna means. Okay. So Krishna Paksh means the waning fortnight, while the Shukla Paksh, Shukla means brighter. The word Shukla means brighter. So Shukla means waxing cycle. Okay. So that's what 1 month in the Panchang is made up of 2 Paksh, one waning, one waxing, the Krishna Paksh and the Shukla Paksh. Okay. This is very interesting. Okay. You know, why is Diwali celebrated on a given day is defined by the lunar calendar. It's not like, there is no randomness there where we say, oh, 1 month, 1 year Diwali comes in the month of October, another year it comes in November. Why is that? That's because these are 2 different frames of references, right? Diwali is always on the same day, Kartik Krishna Amavasya, the month of Kartik, the Paksh of Krishna, and the new moon day of that month. Okay, that's Amavasya. It's always on that day. It's just that there is the lunar calendar and the Gregorian calendar goes out of sync before they come back in sync. That's how it works, right? That's why some years you will see, hey, Diwali this year was in October. Now my mom is saying this in 2024, it's in November. What's going on there? That's exactly what is going on, because they follow different frame of reference. It's like this. Somebody is calculating in miles and another guy is calculating in a metric system. It's not like same thing, right? 1 mile is not same as 1 kilometer. But then there will be one particular point at which both these things would probably have the same measure. Like X means same here and Y means same here, kind of. But anyways, so that's the whole idea. Okay, so that's what this is about. Now, the term for month in the Hindi or in the Panchang is Mahina, Mas, and there are other words too, right? So Mahina and Mas are the general words for it. Okay, that's what it is. Now, sometimes there is an extra month or Adhik Mas after approximately 32.5 months. You know why? You know why this is there? Because when you are talking about an year, even in solar calendar, it's not 365 days. Sometimes it's 365, and then you have a leap year, which is 366 days. Because
technically that it's 365 and then a fourth of a day.
Exactly.
So that's why there's leap year.
Absolutely. So to compensate for that 1/4 of the year which is not captured in the calendar, we have added extra day to the leap year, to the 4th year, right? Same way, there is in the Hindi system or in the Panchang system, the compensatory action for doing that is a month is added after every 32.5 month, because every month is, it's not same, because there are not 12 months in a Hindi Panchang. There are actually 10 months. Okay, these are the names of those 10 months. Okay, we'll come to it. But before I go there, right? So that's why the compensatory action there is to add a complete month, which is called as an Adhik Mas. Okay, Adhik means extra or on top of it, right?
So it's like after a longer period of time, there's a bigger period.
Yes, exactly. You can say that. Adhik means extra, है ना? तो उसको compensate करने के लिए after every 32.5 months, one extra month is added. But anyways, having said that, the key point out there is, what are the names of every day? We said there are 2 sets of 15, right? The 15 for waxing and 15 for waning. That's how the calculation happens. You count from 1 to 15 and then from again 1 to 15. Okay. So in the Gregorian, you have 30 days month and 31 days month, right? However, in the Panchang system, every month generally is of 30 days. Okay? 15 for waxing, 15 for waning. Or in other words, 15 for Shukla Paksh and 15 for the Krishna Paksh. And how do they start? You would have heard these dates, right? It's a system of counting in Sanskrit or, generally, or in Hindi generally, or in any Indian system generally, which is like, we call it like this: Ekam, which is 1, or Pratipada, which is 1, right? Duj, which is 2, Tej, Chauth, Panchami, Kshashti, Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dasmi, Ekadashi, Dwadashi or Baras, Treyodashi or Teras, Chaturdashi or Chaudas, and then comes the day of either new moon, which is called as Amavasya, or the full moon, which is called as a Purnima or Poonam. ठीक है ना? So 15 or 15, 15 and 15. That's what defines 1 month, right? So if you do that calculation, and how many months I said we are talking about? We are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months actually. This is again as 12 months. But 12 times 30 is what? 360 days. है ना? तो वो जो 5 दिन बचते हैं ना, that is what goes towards that Adhik Mas. So it's 5 days and the 1/4 day. That's all brings up together and then becomes one Adhik Mas sometime. Right? Now the how this is done, there's a very complex math. I'll not go there. Not a subject area for us. But that's what happens. तो कभी कभी ऐसी बात करते हैं, अरे इस मंथ में 2 एकम है, this month में 2 पूनम है या पूर्णिमा है, and all that good stuff. It's always complicated and beyond my mind how these mathematicians, astrologers do this math. But there is some science behind it. It's just that you have to understand it to better comprehend. Huh, better?
I can understand it.
Absolutely. Give it a try. It's just that I cannot explain it to you in this class.
Oh.
But you can find a good Indian astrologer who can actually explain it to you. They use some mathematical, they have a mathematical tool to do that calculation. And if you can get hold of one such, learned person, they can very well teach you that. Okay. Anyways, so the names of the months are, the first month of the Panchang is called as Chaitra month. And as it says, the Chaitra month happens, if you overlap it with the Gregorian calendar, Chaitra month happens in the March-April time frame. Jesht month, which is the month of summer, deep summer in India, happens in April and May. Vaishak, which is again summer, happens in May and June. Ashad is the first month of rain or monsoon in India, which happens in June, July. Shravan, deep monsoon month, happens in July, August. Then Bhadrad is the first, kind of towards the tail end of monsoon, August, September. Ashwin is, you can say, is the month of fall, which is September, October. Kartik and Magshish are the month, and the Posh are the months of winters, right? Kartik in October, November. This is when, remember I said Diwali happens on Kartik Krishna Amavasya, right? So Kartik month, Krishna Paksh, and Amavasya day, the new moon day. Okay, so it falls somewhere on October, November. Then Magshish and Posh, as I said, are deep winters. Magh is January, Feb, again winter. And Fagun or Falgun is the month of spring in India, generally in better part of India, right? Obviously,
What about the worst part of India?
the worst part of India, you could have more winter than summer, right? A longer winter and then shorter summer, or the other way around. But generally speaking, India is one of that countries where majority of the geographical area of the current India, they have 4 seasons. The number of months may be more or less, but they have 4 seasons. It's not like United States. Like in United States, you have all 4 seasons. But compared to you guys in Phoenix, we don't have that long of a spring. There is a spring, but from your vantage point, you would consider that also as summer because it's so high of a temperature, and so forth. But anyways, not a topic for that, just for your entertainment. The key point here is how many months are we are talking about? We are talking about 12 months. Each month is made up of generally 30 days, and 30 times 12 is 360, right? So we have left over 5.5, 5 1/4 day every revolution cycle of Earth, which is what contributes towards that concept of Adhik Mas. ठीक है ना? Main point is every month has a consistent order of days, right? So two paksh, and the number days are called with the same set. So Ekam, Duji, Duj, Tej, Chauth, Panchami, Shashti, Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dashmi, Ekadashi, Baras, Teras, Chaudas, and Purnima. Why is it important for you to know all these things? Because first, this is how we traditionally celebrate our religious days. When does Diwali happens? When does Mahavir Jayanti happens? When does Rishabdev Bhagwan's Jayanti happens? When does which is the day of his Janma Kalyanak or Diksha Kalyanak or his Kevalya Gyan Kalyanak and so on and so forth. That's one thing. And second, so we celebrate all our Hindu and Jain religious days based on this Panchang. So that's one reason for knowing it. Second reason is this is our tradition, right? When Jews want to understand their calendar system so well, when Muslims want to understand and know their calendar system so well, why not us? Right? Why not us? This is our responsibility to know, to understand these systems and then value these systems so that we can pass it down our generations, so that Samyak can one day teach this concept to his children's and grandchildren's, and Vikhyat can do the same. Right? It's our responsibility to know these systems so we can pass it down. If we don't know this, we know about Chinese lunar calendar. What the heck? It's okay to know about it. It's great awareness. But that's not your system. Your system is this Panchang. Hai na? And that's why it's our responsibility to know about this system and then raise awareness also. Why do you guys know about Chinese New Year? Because everyone and their friends talk about it, right? And there is so much of entertainment value associated with it. Fireworks and whatnot. Dragons and non-dragons and year of the monkey and year of the whatever animal, right? There are similar rich and entertaining concepts tied to our system of calendar also, and it is our responsibility to know them and raise awareness about them. ठीक है ना? So just because we have been like China, we have been an ancient civilization. And our civilizational values will stay relevant only if we value them. If we stop valuing them, nobody will know about them and they will be lost. Right, Samya? Okay. Having said that, that's what we wanted to cover. Let's see what. So we covered the concept of festivals, right? Our festivals happen following these calendars. And that's the primary reason, right? When a particular day, and there is one more reason. Okay, we do fasting. Fasting is a key part of our existence. It's an exhibition and expression of our tap as a common person, as a layman, as a shravak, as a shravika, right? And the days of fasting there are certain days which have a higher value associated with them from a fasting perspective. Like people can fast on any day they want, right? That's your prerogative. But as per our traditions, there are certain days where more people more often fast, like Chaudas, the day of Chaudas, which comes 2 times in a month, right? Chaudas of the Krishna Paksh and Chaudas of the Shukla Paksh, or in other words, the waxing cycle and the waning cycle. There are two days numbered as 14. They are called as Chaudas. Those are very auspicious for fasting. And then same is with Atham. There are so many people who do fasting on an Atham. Atham means the 8th day of a Paksh, either the waning Paksh or the waxing Paksh. So like I have taken a vow to do fasting on a Atham and Chaudas, right? So I have my own ways of fasting. That's how we do it. There are several people who do fasting on Ekam. There are several people who do fasting on Purnima. Like my mom, a better part of her life, used to do fasting on every Purnima, right? So that's your way of reminding yourself that I have to be, how can I practice Sanyam? How can I practice Tap? Let me choose a day of my liking out of this calendar and let me use that as a point of reference for doing Tap and Tyag. है ना? So that also is one way, knowing it is you would be able to, you'll be surprised. Anybody and everybody who has a Jaina calendar, if you have a Jaina calendar at home, go and check today after this class. There is a representation of the exact day as per our Panchang on that Gregorian calendar. We all follow Gregorian because we want to ensure that everyone is talking in the same language, right? But at the same time, we should be very much aware and proud of our own Panchang system. ठीक है ना? So best way to know about it is go and check your Jaina calendar. You'll find those days mentioned there, including in a broader highlight the days of either a Chaudas or an Atham, because as I said, those are the days which have higher weightage in terms of fasting and following the Tap schedule. Okay? Okay. I think I'm running low on juice on my laptop. So at some point I'll have to end the class. I think we have covered the topic well today, right? So there are a couple of items for you to follow through on. One is the drawing parallel between the concept of dharma astikaya, adharma astikaya with some modern physics concept, right? Based on the definition of dharma dravya and adharma dravya, or dharma astikaya and adharma astikaya. That's your first action. And the second one is to check the Jaina calendar if you have it, or any any Indian calendar that you have it, to just go through it. It's just, it will help you to better anchor the concept of Panchang. Okay? And it's very beautiful concept to know, right? It's like knowing about lunar calendar. It should have garner the same excitement, right? Because it is ours. It's not Chinese. We are following our own lunar calendar, and we should have great awareness and feel sense of pride about it because of its civilizational value. Okay? Okay, guys. I think I should end the session now. I hope. Let me know before I end. Do you have any questions on these concepts that we covered today?
No.
Okay. How about you, Samyak? Okay, great. So let's end the session with Jinwani Stuti. Let's do it together. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, तेवाणी मस्तक धरूं सदा देहूं धोक। हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो हे जपूं दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरणा गए माँ तो पावे सुख चैन। उत्तम क्षमा बेटा। जय जिनेंद्र। जय जिनेंद्र।
Jai
Good
Jinesh.
night.
Uttam
Uttam
Shama.
Shama.
Uttam Shama.
Jai
Jai
Jinesh.
Jinesh.
Jai
Jai
Jinesh.
Jinesh.